I am Halcyon, and this is Hug Nation. Welcome. Mm. It is a low key, low energy, low promotion Hug Nation today. I'm on the road. I'm up in Mountain View, Northern California, having attended the San Francisco DCOM last night. And so we're going to do like a TV show where they throw you in the middle of a scene and then the backstory fills in. Picture this. I'm on a train this morning, sitting next to a guy. We're silent, we're silent, we're silent. Haven't really acknowledged, I kind of nodded to him morning when I sat down. After about 5 minutes, he says, oh, I'm sorry, weird question, but are you in a Burning Man video? I was like, I am in a Burning Man video. Keep in mind, I was wearing almost as circusy as what I'm looking like right now. And he said, "Oh yeah, I said that oh the Places You'll Go video was so great," and we start talking. And we start talking about our nonlinear life paths. I talk to him about Hug Nation, and he goes, "Well, what kind of things do you talk about?" And I said, Well, I'm thinking that on today's episode, I'm going to talk about you." Okay, scene break to 24 hours earlier. Um, uh, with a crew of people getting ready for DCOM, drive to the city for DCOM. A couple people that I'm with are a little under the weather, so they very within like an hour are saying, I think we're gonna head out. But that's okay. There's another person with us with a ride, and to little backstory, in years past, I've gone to the San Francisco DCOM a number of times, and just figured out what I was going to do when I was there. Like not having a place to stay, not really knowing what I was going to do. Or last year, I even my plan was to come back to Mountain View at night, but I ended up just staying and meeting people and staying the night in the city, and so kind of in the back of my mind, I was like, it could always work out, and so. Um, Within a couple hours of being there, and this is a long event, it goes all day and into the night until midnight. The rest of my crew was like, you know what? There's no vegan food available in this event, so we're gonna go get some food. And I was like, well, I don't want to leave. I said, you know what? Okay, cool, no problem. You guys, uh, maybe you guys will come back, or maybe I'll figure it out. There's public transit. I'm sure I can find a place to stay tonight. It'll all work out. Um, and just kind of like just trust it'll work out. It's worked out in the past. I mean, that's one of the neat things about, I think, wisdom is that not necessarily learning things, but having going through things enough repeated times that you're able to let go of some of your fears about them. You know what? I'm always worried that something bad's going to happen, or I'm always worried that or I always think that my initial perception of this is good or bad is not always true. So I can let go of that perception, let go, let go. So um, I end up uh, hanging out, walking around, meeting people, having great interactions, great interactions, great interactions, as I often do at Burning Man events. People who have watched Hug Nations or seen a how-to video and had some special memory that they want to share with me about Burning Man or how the experience has changed their lives. And so I just get so filled up by these. And I ran into a couple that I actually met a year ago at DCOM, but really got to know in uh, the post post-burn Reno Grand Sierra partying and stuff. So ran into them again, and we've been had some emails since then, and just great people that come to Hug Nation, and so I kind of get adopted by their crew, and so we're cruising around and hanging out, and then I go off on adventures and meet back with them. Make sure I have their phone number, and so go off on adventures, meet back with them, and just having a blast. Not sure if I'm gonna, kind of thinking I'll probably at the end of the night take the train, um, and talk to some friends who are rangers and who help me, locals up there who help me figure out how the train situation would work. So at like 11 o'clock, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go. I think I should go. I'm gonna go. I want to crawl in bed with Belicious, and so I'm gonna take the train home. And so I start following the directions I've been given to where the train station would be, and I start asking everybody, "Is there a train station here?" And everyone's like, "Oh, I don't know." So I walk like around some big blocks, and with no indication that uh, there's any public transit nearby, or if it is, it's not nearly as it's not how it was explained to me, which makes me think that um, their assurances that yeah, it's going to be running all night may not have been accurate either. So I go, so I go back to the event, call up my friends, and say, hey, is that offer to stay at your place still stand? And they said, yeah, of course. So hung out with them some more. Took a cab back to their place and ended up just talking into the night, just having a really beautiful, amazing connection. And not sleeping a whole bunch, which is why we're having a low key, kind of quiet, kind of shortened Hug Nation today. Kind of actually set my alarm to wake up for a nap so that we could talk right now. Worth it, totally worth it. But I think I'm going to go to sleep afterwards. And this whole interaction of it, was all. None of this would have happened if I was strict on my plan of like, oh gosh, I came with these people, they're leaving, I need to go. Like, oh well, like, and but instead I was like, okay, circumstances are changing. I'm gonna trust it's gonna work out. I'm gonna trust it's gonna work out. I'm gonna surrender to the flow. I'm gonna believe that staying open is the only plan that I need. And so then I try to get some sleep. I wake up early in the morning. I had a ride planned. They were going to give me a ride uh, to the train station in the morning, but I'm like, oh my gosh, I could call a Lyft, Lyft, the service that I've been using a lot more lately to get rides. And so I start seeing if there's a Lyft driver, which there's not, and then there is. So I get a Lyft to the train station, and as I pull in the train station, uh, I'm like trying to figure out what I need to do, and so I go up to some workers there. I'm like, can I get some help? How do I get to Mountain View? And they go, the train right there. It's the one that's about to leave. Go get on that train. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, can you get tickets on the train? And like one guy said, get on the train, and everyone else said no. But I was like, what? So I I first run to the train, then I run back trying to get a ticket, and I'm like, I can't figure out these machines. So I'm like, just gonna get on the train. I'm gonna get on the train and just pay the conductor. So I get on the train, and I'm like, I'll just feign ignorance. One guy told me to get on the train. I'll just say I don't know what to do. I'm not from around here. Like I didn't know, officer. Um, and so pretty soon, I'm like, I can't even believe my own lie because pretty soon they announce after like 5 stops, and no one's checking tickets. I'm like, oh, maybe it's no big deal. Maybe they don't check tickets here. Maybe it's just like the risk of getting caught. And then they make an announcement over the loudspeaker about there's no tickets available on the train, and I'm like, okay, now my lie in my own head is even mixed. I'm doing the wrong thing. And so I'm like, well, maybe it won't matter. And then as I'm thinking this, I hear the conductor at the back of this car ask for tickets ready, and I go, so I walk out the front of the car to the conductor there, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. I messed up. I don't have a ticket. She goes, you don't have a ticket? Like, she's like, do you know how it works here? I'm like, no. She goes, if you don't have a ticket, you get a $300 fine. I'm like, and then so we're coming up to a stop. I'm like, well, can I just get off and get a ticket? She's like, we won't have time. I'm like, okay, I'll get off and I'll get a ticket and I'll get on the next train. So get off the train, get a ticket, train leaves, and so I get a ticket to the next train, and I get on the next train. 20 minutes later, this whole time I'm like, really, I would like to be home. I like to, crawl into bed with Delicious, but um, 20-minute delay, get back on a new train. This time I've avoided a $300 ticket, so I'm feeling good about that. I'm almost there, feel good about that. Sit down next to this guy. We say, morning. And then a few minutes later he says, were you in that Burning Man video? And then we end up having this really awesome conversation. And one of the things that we talked about was that how important it is to let go of your expectations of what a situation should be or how it's supposed to end up. How important it is to go with the flow, to float more. When the seas get bumpy, sometimes it's not about anchoring down. Sometimes it's about setting the sail so that you can go and figure out why or where the winds are taking you. And so I think that what I've been realizing lately is that there's a second part to that whole lesson of letting go. The first part is, yes, don't be so attached to the way it's supposed to be that you don't appreciate the new direction. The second part, though, is that when you find yourself in this experience that you did not expect or plan, tuning your brain into saying, oh, okay, this is not what I planned. What's here for me to notice? Why? Is there a reason, maybe? Are there people I'm supposed to meet? This guy and this, like, I wasn't supposed to be on this train. So why am I here? I should listen. I shouldn't put my head down and if he asks a question, go grumble and try to get the conversation to end, which sometimes is my instinct. Sometimes when I just don't feel energetic, don't feel up, I give body language and answers or whatever so that I try to limit or shut down the interactions that I might have. And often it's when I'm in a situation like, oh, an extra thing I didn't mean to do, or no, this I'm late for this. Oh, just just nobody talk to me, and I'll just be in my own space. But I've started trying to practice the opposite of saying, "Oh, this is unexpected. Pay attention." When Huggy had a flat tire, it was like there were all these other people waiting at the tire place, and instead of just kind of like making myself kind of be out of sight until we got our stuff finished, I was like, notice, like, if somebody said something, I would like strike up conversation. Oh, the Hugmobile. Let me tell you a story about the Hugmobile. It's just kind of like, we're here. Fate, serendipity, something has dropped us into this beautiful detour from our plan. Maybe there's a reason. Maybe there's magic. Maybe there's treasure in this path that we did not plan on. So that, I guess, is what I would leave you with. Let go of your map and be aware of when the uncharted territory that you've been pushed onto may be the grounds for treasure. So let's have a Hug Nation hug. Mm. Grab yourself by the shoulders. Be appreciative of this body and the experiences it gives you, the places it takes you. And be appreciative of your personality and your roles that you play and the experiences that those give you, the places they take you. And then become deeply, awesomely appreciative of the glowing ray of light that shines through you, not even starting from your deep down core, but just shining through you, coming through from someplace deeper, brighter, more pure, more divine. And when we surrender to trust, when we surrender to belief, when we surrender to the flow, that light shines through us, that light guides us, that light reveals treasure. Let's take 3 breaths together, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Ready? On behalf of Grandpa Caleb and all the love warriors, happy Hug Nation. Thank you for being you, for letting your light shine, and for sharing your treasure. I love you. Namaste.